Jesus and his disciples went to Gethsemane. He said, "Sit here while I go and pray." Jesus took Peter, James, and John with him. He became very sad. He said, "I am overcome with sadness. Wait here and stay awake with me." Jesus fell face down and prayed, "Father, if it is possible, take this suffering away from me, but only if it is part of your plan." Jesus came back and found the disciples asleep. He asked, "Couldn't you stay awake for 1 hour?" Each time Jesus went to pray, he returned to find his disciples sleeping. Suddenly, Judas arrived with a large crowd carrying swords and clubs. Judas kissed Jesus so the crowd would know whom to arrest. The men grabbed Jesus. Jesus asked, "Am I a criminal? All of these things are fulfilling what the prophets wrote." Then Jesus' disciples ran away. The men who arrested Jesus led him to Caiaphas, the high priest's house. The high priest asked, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of God?" Jesus replied, "Yes, that's right." The high priest said, "Aha! He has spoken against God." Caiaphas and the council did not want to believe Jesus is God's son. They said Jesus was lying, but Jesus cannot lie. The crowd answered, "He deserves to die." They spit in Jesus' face and beat him. The next morning, they led Jesus to Pilate, the governor. "Are you king of the Jews?" Pilate asked. "Yes, that's right," Jesus replied. "What should I do with Jesus the Messiah?" Pilate asked the crowd. They all answered, "Crucify him." Pilate did not think Jesus had done anything wrong, but he handed Jesus over to them and said, "Do whatever you want." The governor's soldiers took of Jesus' clothes and put a scarlet robe on him. They made a crown of thorns and put it on his head. Then they mocked him, "Here is the King of the Jews!" Then they beat him and led him away to be killed. The soldiers nailed Jesus to a cross. They put a sign above his head that said, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." 2 criminals were crucified next to him. Darkness covered the land. Then Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Jesus shouted again, and then he died. Suddenly the curtain in the temple sanctuary split from top to bottom, and the earth quaked. A guard said, "This man really was God's son." Jesus was buried in a tomb cut into a rock. A stone was sealed in front of the tomb. 3 days later, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to the tomb. Suddenly, the earth quaked as an angel came to the tomb. He rolled back the stone and sat on it. The guards fainted. The angel said, "Don't be afraid. Jesus is not here. He has been resurrected just like he said. In fact, he is going ahead of you into Galilee." The women left the tomb quickly to tell the disciples the news. Just then Jesus met them. "Good morning," he said. The women worshiped him. "Don't be afraid," Jesus told them. "Go tell my disciples to meet me in Galilee. They will see me there." The crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus is the center of the gospel. We deserve to die because of our sin, but Jesus died in our place. He was the blood sacrifice made once and for all for the forgiveness of sin. God was pleased with Jesus' sacrifice and raised Jesus from the dead to reign as king over all creation. We are forgiven only through Jesus.